Hi, this is Zdenka. In this video, you will learn how to film a travel cinematic video with iPhone 15 Pro. We will go through camera settings, individual shots, and gimbal modes. This video is brought to you by Zike. Let's start with native camera app's settings, as all the clips will be filmed in ProRes format, and some of you might not have that enabled on the phone. Let's hit settings, go to camera, select formats, scroll down and enable Apple ProRes. The next setting below is ProRes encoding. Let's hit that and choose lock. Let's go back and go to record video settings, which is another very important feature you want to enable, and it is lock white balance. Let's close camera settings and open up native camera app video mode. Now I see the ProRes lock icon that I will enable. The video will look very washed out, very flat, gray. You will have to apply a lot in a video editing program. I will be using standard Apple lock to Rec 709, and then I will calibrate the footage further. Why to film in lock profile? Lock profile retains more information in highlights and shadows, so it's going to give you more flexibility in the post when it comes to calibrating. The picture will look much nicer, and you will get rid of the over-sharpened smartphone look. My phone is pretty full. If I was filming in 4K resolution at 24 frames per second or 30, I could film a maximum of 3 minutes. So for this reason, I'm going to use Zike USB-C magnetic extended storage. Now all my files will be stored there. I'll show you more about Zike a bit later. All clips will be filmed in 4K at 30 frames per second. Those clips will be imported on a 24 frames per second timeline and will be slowed down 80%. That will give us a slower look that you typically see in music videos. It is not as slow as slow motion, but the end result will give you a bit softer and slower look. There is one more setting I'm going to change, and that is exposure value. I will bring it down to minus 0.7. Majority of smartphones overexpose an image a bit, meaning the video is always a bit brighter and sometimes you get overblown highlights. Let's get straight into filming of the first location reveal shot, and let me show you what not to do. And that will be just grabbing a smartphone, hit record, and record this reveal. Have you noticed how the picture is getting brighter and darker as I move? It is because I did not lock the exposure. Simply tap on the screen and hold until you see AEAF lock. This will also lock your focus, so you want to first focus on the far distance of the location you will be showing off. I'm going to do this for all the shots on all locations. Now when I'm revealing the sunrise, the brightness will stay the same. The shot will look much more professional. Let's explain the difference between pan, tilt, follow mode and lock mode on a gimbal. First of all, it doesn't matter what gimbal you are using, it applies to all. What you need to understand is the difference between locked motor and unlocked. But if you want to know what gimbal I'm using in this video, it is Hohem iSteady M6. The first shot will be taken in pan, tilt, follow mode. Pan movement is unlocked and tilt movement is unlocked as well. I'm going to frame the lighthouse right in the center of the shot, bring my smartphone low, pointing to the ground, and as I am walking forward, I am revealing the lighthouse. It is a little bit tricky as you have to make sure you keep the lighthouse in the center. The next shot will be taken in lock mode. The shot will look different, but it will be much easier to take. Lock mode means that all motors are locked. The gimbal is going to keep the direction you will choose. I'm going to frame the lighthouse and enable lock mode. Now when I go low to the ground, you can see that it is still keeping the view of the lighthouse. As I'm lifting the gimbal up and walking forward, I don't have to really worry about framing anymore, as the gimbal is helping me to make sure the lighthouse is always in the center, the way I framed it at the beginning. When you're traveling, quite often you see something that needs to be captured very fast, like this boat, for example. In these situations, don't worry about fancy moves and angles. A simple stationary shot or tripod shot is just enough to grab the memory. You can always add movement in the post. You can zoom in, you can zoom out, you can zoom in a bit and add a pan movement. There is always a way of making it work. Whenever you film, try to keep in mind to include shots that the majority of people can't see. Everybody just walks around and looks at the things from the same height. Smartphones are small, can fit anywhere. I took advantage of this bench, for example. I've done this shot many years ago, but I still wanted to include it in this tutorial to remind you to look for unusual views. The bench is making a nice frame to the lighthouse in the middle. I would like to return now to this little tool I am using in this video. Zike USB-C magnetic extended storage for iPhone 15 series. As you can see, it has a built-in color display and also TF card. What you see on the display is total capacity, transmission specifications, power status, and temperature. It's extremely light, it weighs only 0.038 pounds. You can plug it into the phone just like I did and record your 4K 60Hz ProRes files directly to the drive, or you can use these adapters. There are two included. One is shorter and the second one is a bit longer. As you can see, it nicely snaps to the phone. Again, it's magnetic. I tried it with a few smartphone cases I have here, and this part is quite long. Plugs in no problem at all. I can use it with this Hohem gimbal or small gimbals such as DJI OM6. It supports USB 3.2 Generation 1 with a high-speed transmission rate of 5 GB per second. Reading speeds and writing speeds are displayed on the screen. You can record ProRes 4K at 24 and 30 frames per second. It is possible to film in 60 frames per second at 4K, however, you will get a notice about slow writing speed. That means video might have frame drops, resulting in jittery footage. You can expand your storage up to 1 terabyte with this. When you are using this, you can also charge your phone with it. It supports 27-watt fast charge. I tested it and it works great. Once you're done filming, you can just take the drive and bring it to your laptop or computer. It is compatible with a wide range of devices and operating systems. Let's name them: iPhone, MacBook, iPad, PlayStation, or Android device. I'm going to link it below the video in a video description for those interested. Thank you very much, Zike, for making this video possible. Let's do one more shot with this bench. There is one simple thing to remember. Adults see different things than toddlers down there. Flip your gimbal upside down and take a few shots by the ground. It always works its magic. These shots can be used as quick transitions, just fill-in shots, or just a shot that breaks the regular adult view eye perspective. Let's do a shot that might seem super simple to do, and that is using a strong foreground while filming with a telephoto lens. Here is what happens when things go wrong. The focus wasn't locked before pressing the record button, and the gimbal had pan and tilt follow mode enabled, making it hard to maintain the same direction while filming with a telephoto lens. Let's zoom in even more, but this time, let's film the easier way. First of all, I'm going to lock the focus on the lighthouse. Next, I'm going to frame the shot so the lighthouse is nicely in the middle and enable lock mode on the gimbal. Now that the frame is locked, I can very simply move very close to the foreground and not have to worry that I will lose the view. I can just pass the foreground, or I can pull through or back up. There is a brand new restaurant at this location that just opened up. I was filming in Whitby, Ontario, Canada. It used to be an abandoned building ruins. They had this heavy-duty fence around it. Now you can come here, have a drink, and enjoy the food. Of course, I went there too. And I can tell you, it was awesome. Let's capture this place. To make a transition from one location to the next, You can choose a foreground that will make you feel as you are about to enter something nice. You don't see it fully yet, you have lots of foreground, in this case 3 leaves to go through. The gimbal is in lock mode, as this will ensure the restaurant is nicely framed as you move forward. There are several things you need to think about before you start recording. How far should you stand away from the subject? How is the lighting? Where's the sun position? What gimbal mode I should select? What lens I should select? And how I should frame the subject? Here are my thoughts. Here is how I think. I've already done the reveal of the place. Now I want to get closer and show what it looks like inside. I'm going to move sideways, so I will use pen follow mode. The sun is facing me, it's a bit on the right side, so I will get a very moody dark look. I will be walking sideways, but slightly on the angle to the right, as I want to be able to get some light from the right, aiming towards the sun a tiny bit. I could use an ultra-wide angle lens or main lens. I'm choosing the main lens as I don't want to distort any of those lines. I'm going more for a professional look. Two shots of this place would not be enough for the edit. The first shot was the reveal, the second shot is the close-up. Now we need a closure. This shot is happening from further distance, filmed with the main camera, panning sideways, so the gimbal is in pan follow mode. The goal here is to show the restaurant, but then leave the restaurant by focusing on the sunrise. That will help to transition to another area. Here are those 3 clips together: reveal, close-up, and closure. Let's move to shot number 10. This one might seem extremely simple as well, but you can make a lot of mistakes there that might not give you the nice cinematic feel. So let me show you the difference between a bad shot and a good shot. This is just a park walkway. You can go against the sun to the left, or you can go with the sun in your back to the right. Let's do the left one first, that is against the sun. I'm going to lock the focus and exposure on a far distance. Gimbal is set to pan follow mode. The end result is not the best. First of all, you see the garbage on the right. There are construction signs on the left. The sky is quite overblown, mainly on the left where the sun is. Let's turn it around and film the other way. Right away you see that the view is much better. There are no distracting elements. The trees have richer crowns. The walkway is leading us to a beautiful lake view. To take the shot right, it's absolutely necessary to lock the focus and exposure on the far bright lake. Yes, the trees will be dark, that you can always make a bit lighter in the post, but the lake and sky at the end of the pathway will not be overexposed. The gimbal was set to lock mode. Are you still confused when it comes to choosing main camera versus ultra-wide camera? Here is one location where both cameras come in handy. The first shot is taken with the main camera to have the least distortion possible. We want to keep everything straight. The structure, the tables. The shot is taken against the sun to capture shadows and contrast. The gimbal is set to pan follow mode. The next shot, capturing the inside of the gazebo, is calling for an ultra-wide angle shot. First of all, you want to capture the whole ceiling. You want to fit it all in, But also this can create a dramatic look, even though there will be a distortion happening around the edges. The gimbal is set to pan and tilt follow mode. You need to lock the focus and exposure for the far distance at the end of the gazebo before you start filming. Then bring the smartphone up to the starting position and slowly bring the camera down as you are walking through. You might have to try to do this shot a few times to get it perfect, just like I did, as it's tricky to get the best framing at the end. Here is the first shot that didn't work out well. I ended up framing the shot too low, seeing way too much of the ground. And here is the final shot, where I was able to get the framing right at the end. It was centered and balanced. The last quick tip is here. If you are filming an object in a far distance with a 3x telephoto camera and want to create a pan movement, you have to move extremely slowly with almost no movement at all. Alright, let's play the final sequence. Some of you always ask me about the music. I always use Epidemic Sound service. I'll list the name of the song below as well as the link to Epidemic Sound. If you will use my link, you will get 1 month free. Give it a thumbs up if you found this video helpful and subscribe for more. Let me know in the comments below what shot you liked the most and what are you doing this summer if you are traveling, whereabouts. See you in the next video. Ciao, ahoj.